the 30, runs through the tackle. He's got room at the 40, at the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Talking about Madden games gets confusing sometimes. There are 11 different versions of Madden 08, a game I called the last great Madden. In that video, I mentioned that I was referring to the GameCube, original Xbox, or PlayStation 2 version of the game, because the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions were very different, as were the DS, PSP, Wii, mobile phone, PC, and Mac versions as well. Madden 08 was the last Madden and the last game in general for the GameCube. Madden 09 was the last Madden for the original Xbox, but Madden on the PlayStation 2 just kept coming out. Madden 10 came by and was not only on the PS3 and Xbox 360, but still on the PS2. Then Madden 11 came and yep, it was also on the PS2. Surely Madden 12 wouldn't get a PS2 release. Well, it did, and it's arguably one of the greatest Madden titles ever. The reason I call Madden 08 the last great Madden and not a game like Madden 09 or 10 or 11 or 12 for the PS2 is to keep things simplified. Madden 08 was the last Madden to release for all three 6th generation consoles, so when referring to Madden 08, it is most likely that someone is referring to the 6th generation version of that game. If I called Madden 09 the last great Madden, even if the PS2 version was technically better than Madden 08 for the PS2, it would get too confusing because for most people, Madden 09 is mostly thought of as an Xbox 360 or PS3 game, and that version is completely different from the PS2 version. Same goes for 10, 11, 12. And while I call Madden 12 the last good Madden, I was referring to the 360 and PS3 version because that's what people usually think of when they hear Madden 12. So what I'm getting at here is that Madden 12 for the PS2 might be the best Madden ever, even if that might initially appear to contradict some of my older video titles. Does that make sense? This is one of the most underrated sports games of all time. While you may be expecting, or even remembering, this version of Madden 12 to simply be a roster update of Madden 08 and nothing else, that's not the case. Sure, a lot of the game reuses assets and a lot of the game modes are essentially the same, but there are new additions and tweaks all around. Obviously, the game has 2011 NFL rosters, which I'll dive into later, but the first most immediate change is a new mode called Family Play. Most of my regular viewers would probably find this mode to be insanely boring and pointless, but that's because this mode wasn't made for them. If you're someone who's new to American football and the game's complex rules and strategies, or you're new to football video games and you're not exactly sure where to start, this game in this mode will be perfect for you initially. Controls are simplified and shown to you before the game, play selection is simplified, and Ask Madden is enabled by default. Pass plays show you when receivers get open with a red or green circle. Kicking field goals is a simple button press. If you want to get your kid into football or yourself into football, this is the mode to play. You can activate it in any game mode too, so you can play franchise mode with Family Play enabled, so you can have the fun of managing a team without needing to fully understand the gameplay. Even today in 2023, I'd say this is the best way to learn how American football works. Gameplay is a bit different in 12 than older Maddens too. When the crowd gets loud or a defender makes a big hit, the camera shakes, which adds a cool touch. However, it can be a bit jarring and hurt your eyes, and there's no possible way to disable it. It's a bit subjective whether you like it or not, but it could be a reason to prefer an older Madden like 08 if it bothers you. Super Sim is actually included, meaning you can sim defensive plays if you only want to play offense, like in modern Maddens. Custom control stick setup allowed you to map different moves or actions to the right stick, so you could set throwing the ball away to holding the right stick down or up or anywhere you want, which is pretty cool. For the most part, however, gameplay is the same as it always was on the PS2 from Madden 08 onwards. What has changed since 08 is commentary. Gus Johnson and Chris Collinsworth are now in the booth, just like in the 360 and PS3 versions of the game. You can't listen to Gus Johnson and not get hyped. Franchise mode is essentially the exact same as Madden 08's, which means you get all those juicy features that modern Madden games don't even have. These include training camp drills to upgrade your players in the offseason, fully licensed offensive and defensive coordinators to hire or promote, the ability to sign players to custom contracts during the season, newspaper articles for the whole league or just for your team, Pro Bowl voting changes each week, emails from players and staff demanding more playing time or offering advice, position breakdowns when scouting an opponent, the ability to import a created team or export a team you really enjoyed so you can use it into other game modes, import a draft class from an NCAA college football title, edit your team's uniform design, scout players before the draft by doing drills with them, or even by playing the Senior Bowl, and so much more. Everything you'd want or expect in a PS2 era Madden franchise mode is here in Madden 12, and everything I just listed is not in Madden 23. Superstar mode was in the game and it was awesome. Create a player at literally any position and go through their career. You can be a kicker or an offensive guard. No one will stop you because this is a video game. Remember, in Madden 23, you can only choose a couple positions for that awful career mode. You can choose an existing rookie in this game like Cam Newton or Von Miller, or of course make your own. Get drafted, hire agents, take on movie roles. It's all there, minus the in-your-face, cringy cutscenes of modern career modes in sports games. Madden 12 was actually the last Madden to have Superstar mode. Other modes include Fantasy Challenge, a mode where you develop a fantasy team of NFL players by drafting players with a unique budget system, and then other teams can steal your players with points unless you protect them, but you only get to protect 3 players. You start in the newbie league with 3 rounds of games followed by playoffs, and then you try and move up to the next league. It's a super fun and fresh mode that might be a lot of fun if you're bored of traditional franchising career modes. Skill drills are fun minigames against tackling dummy robots that are sort of creepy looking. There's another mode called minigames, which includes a 2-minute drill, which is always fun, and minicamp, a Madden classic. All of these tiny modes are super fun, and it's crazy they no longer exist in any form. Tournament allows you to create a custom tournament with or without a fantasy draft, and you can even import created fictional teams. Speaking of which, Create a Team is here, and this is the last Madden game to include it. Some people like to say that this was removed because of the NFL's request, but that is simply not true. And you can go watch my first ever video, The Fall of the Madden NFL series, to hear former creative director Rex Dixon admit that EA simply removed it because they didn't have the resources to put it back in the game after rebuilding the code for Madden 13, and that the NFL League had nothing to do with it and actually doesn't care at all. The current relocation teams are a far cry from this creation suite that literally every other modern sports game has, except Madden. You could even create a fan holding a hot dog. This was also the last Madden to include Create a Play, an amazing feature allowing you to draw a formation any way you want and draw every route or block in detail. It was so much fun creating plays of your wildest imagination, since this is, a video game. Madden has not had this feature since Madden 12, and why? Sure, it could break online play, but as an option in offline franchise, or something a league commissioner could toggle on or off or customize in an online league, it really should be in modern Madden. Let us have fun. Under practice mode, there was still situation mode, which is also now gone from the game. You could create any in-game situation, such as, look at the screen, and jump right in. Create your own Madden moments. It was awesome, and there's no excuse for its current absence. Gameplay was PS2 Madden, for better or for worse. While it wasn't as complex or simulation-like as 2K football games, it was faster, it was fluid, easy to pick up and play, and most importantly, it was fun. In my opinion, this era of Madden gameplay was the best. Sure, modern Madden games are more complex with better AI in some situations, and a lot more possibilities in plays, but in terms of fun, nothing tops this era. It made sense, you never felt cheated or like the game was scripted against you, and throwing bombs or breaking long runs was exhilarating. It had its flaws and could be cheesed pretty easily with high-speed players, but again, set your expectations properly and control yourself, and you'll have a good time. The rosters in this game are so cool. You had rookie Cam Newton and Jake Locker, who was a promising player whose career was cut short due to injuries. It would be fun to take over the Titans and try and give Locker a great career. Plus, He has 98 overall, 99 speed and acceleration Chris Johnson to hand the ball off to. Tim Tebow is in this game on the Broncos. Michael Vick is an Eagle, ready to throw bombs to 99 speed Deshaun Jackson. And interestingly, Mark Sanchez of all people is rated higher than Matthew Stafford, which is interesting to say the least, but back then, Mark Sanchez had a pretty good start to his career. This NFL era was such a fun vibe, and luckily, we have a great PS2 era Madden, making great use of it here. The soundtrack to this game was insane as well, featuring newer songs at the time like Lil Wayne's 6 Foot 7 Foot, along with classics like the Foo Fighters and Queen. It had numerous genres, and the variety was great. The next year, Madden 13 released, but not for the PS2. And the 360 and PS3 versions of 13 removed Create a Team, the Deep Franchise Mode, Superstar Mode, and basically everything fun about Madden games in my opinion, just to throw Ultimate Team and online play in your face because that's where the money was and still is. And God forbid EA tries to make a genuinely good NFL game that actually celebrates the history of the sport. The corporate suits would much rather half-ass everything and barely invest in their own game, collect their paychecks, and ride their yachts into the sunset. Even if you don't own a PS2, you can play this game on a Steam Deck or computer or even your phone, if it's powerful enough, using a PS2 emulator. At the end of the day, Madden 12 for the PS2 is maybe the best Madden ever, overall. And if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend doing so. You'll have a great time. Thanks for watching.